Hello YouTube, this is MicroFSXPilot here with another video. Today I'm going to be doing a tutorial on how to do an ILS landing on FSX. I've gotten this requested by FSX Aviation 1. He apparently wanted me to do this video just so he knows how to do an ILS approach. Now as you can see, we're just about to get onto the localizer for runway 9 left for Philadelphia Airport. I'm on the default 737. I usually do PMDG, but I get bad frame rates with PMDG and I want to record that. And also, PMDG decided just to not work today, so we'll see. Now just ignore the air traffic controller. I know he's just saying, please expedite your climb to 6,000. I did send it to 2,000 on my own just because he's just going to make me maintain 6,000 and then descend rapidly to 2,000 for the ILS approach, and then we're going to go over speed, and then we're gonna have to go around, so I'm just going to do my own thing because mostly I'm a VAT7 traffic controller. I know how everything's supposed to be. Now, we're expecting runway 9 left for the approach, so I mostly want to pause the game right here. Go into world map. Now you can also use charts, but because I'm doing this for the new people to FSX, I'm not going to. Charts are like the ILS charts. You can get them off of FlightAware and AirNav, all those stuff. Now look for the runway you're expecting. So for us, it's going to be 9 left. I would highlight it just so it's much easier to see. Now this is the two numbers you want to write down or memorize: ILS frequency and ILS heading. Just write them down or memorize it. So ours is 108.905 for frequency, and then heading is 085. Then hit OK, and continue flying. Now, these are the two numbers that will allow you to get onto the ILS approach. The aircraft will just fly itself over there. Now, just so we're ready whenever he says clear ILS, because you can see right here's a localizer around this area. So open up shift. It's mostly the same for PMDG, except just a few difference. So everything's just going to be about the same thing. There we go. So I'm gonna pause it right here just so we don't overshoot anything. Now, it's shift 2 if you're flying default, shift 4 for PMDG. You want to open up the radio stack, bring it up here. Now, nav 1, you're going to want to set to right here. This is the standby. You want to set to 10. You want to set it to the number you wrote down. So in our case, it's going to be 108.95, the number you wrote down a few minutes ago. Okay, apparently FSX wants me to do it like this. This is why I don't fly defaults much. So put in the frequency right in here, then switch it. On PMDG it'll just be a little switch. And then you're going to want to switch nav 1. It's going to look somewhat the same, but it's going to say NV1. It's going to have a little arrow for PMDG. Now nav 1's switched on. Now the other number, which is heading, you want to set to the ILS heading that you wrote down earlier. So in our case, it's going to be 085. Now, let's actually get on to the localizer. So he wants us to turn heading 120. So let's just put heading 120 right here. Now this is the ILS heading. This number, just ignore it unless air traffic control tells you to. Now you want to make sure autopilot's flying itself first, just so everything's working. Now you're going to turn on to the localizer, which is heading 120. I'll just make sure everything's okay. Yep. Okay. The course is the ILS heading. It'll take you onto the on course of the runway. Looks like we're a bit early, but who cares? Now once you're on the approach, you want to hit APP, which means approach. Now I think you have to be under 2,000, 3,000 or something for it to work, but I've tested it and I don't think it's like that. Now the ILS works a lot better on PMDG. I know it's not going to look so well on this because this is default. Now the aircraft's speeding up. So you just want to continue doing your own approach like you would normally. Slow down, set flaps to 5. Auto brakes are set. It wants me to lower the landing gear at flaps 5, so I'm not going to do it right now. I lower the landing gear at flaps 15. So just ignore it. Landing lights are turned on. For some reason that's how it looks like on FSX. Seatbelt signs on. Panel lights, we're not going to turn them on right now. Lights aren't. Not all the lights are turned on. Runway turn off lights should be turned on also. For PNDG. Now let's close this. Now I'm not going to drop the gear down until we're on the localizer and we're clear to land, but I'm just going to lower flaps to 10. Now this isn't complete auto land, like you're going to disable the autopilot about 200 feet above ground level, which is called decision altitude or minimums. So minimums also can be like no going around or whatever. But you're going to disable the autopilot around minimums. We don't have a GPWS currently, so you're not going to hear anything. It's going to be around 200 feet ground level. Currently at 1,800 feet ground level. So the reason why you're going to disable the autopilot is so you can actually flare the aircraft properly, because the ILS won't do it so well, especially if you're flying default. But auto brakes is set to 3. Let me actually set it to 2. I don't think we need that much braking. I'm going to arm the spoilers. Comes down, there we go. Spoilers, not flight detent. Oh, they're already armed, there we go. Armed. Spoilers are armed. Now they're retracted. As you can see, the aircraft now turning onto the localizer. That's why it's turning automatically. I didn't touch anything. As you can see, the aircraft's just turning now out of it's 119 and we set heading 120. It automatically turned off heading select. Now it's just about the same process for PNBG. Airbus is a little bit different. I think you put the ILS course into the FMC, depending on whether you're flying the Airbus Airbus payware or freeware. Almost every single freeware aircraft will be the same process, but payware it's not. Now that we're turning on to the localizer, because you can see heading 115. See, I'm not touching anything. Now I think you have to make sure nav is switched on also. So there's a lot of checks you want to make sure. We're 9er left, so this is our runway right here. I think I haven't done this approach in a while. So I'm going to slow down to 160. Now the beeping in the background is normal, it's just like the ILS Morse code. Now, as you can see, the aircraft's now lining up automatically up here. It'd really be nice if FSX actually gave us LNAV and RNAV. Just makes it easier. Now, usually in this weather conditions you won't want to do an ILS approach, but it depends on your skill level with Flight Simulator and all that. Drop flaps to 5 now that we're just close to speed 15160. So flaps 15, gear down. Ignore them. Now this is our runway that we're going to land at. As you can